What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Dani La'Shay of Web Celeb Daily, and we are back with another episode of Dishing with Dani. Today, we have a very special episode. We have a cast interview, very new show called Girls Raised in the South, aka GRITS. We have the creator of the show, Deji LaRay. We have the cast, Miss Jasmine Sargent, Ashanti Harris, Asia, she go by Slime, Canyon,
Yeah.
and Thomas Jones, who's also serves as an executive producer. Thank you so much for being with me today. I'm super excited.
I saw your comment and was like, whoa, wait a minute. I took a look at your page and I was like, this is somebody we need to talk to about grit. So I appreciate, just the correspondence and being open to having a conversation with us about the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I saw that trailer and I was like, I like this. Like
Yeah.
I knew it was gonna be something, like I told you in the message, I said the acting is acting. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And that's what I like because you guys are being very relatable. You definitely reminded me of people that I know in my own life. So I'm like, okay, I like this. I was very drawn to it from that. So kudos to you guys for doing an amazing job. I actually just watched episode 2 last night. We're gonna get into it.
Episode two is a little different, huh?
Listen, look, the first episode started off raw. I'm like, oh, once it's
Yeah.
done
Right.
to start it off in the beginning, I said, okay, they coming with it. They coming with it from the beginning. So when episode 2 came out, I said, okay, we getting down to the little nitty
Huh?
gritty.
Yeah, it gets
Absolutely.
even grittier. I
Mhm,
kind of took a deeper dive into the episodes and the storylines, and some unexpected things happen.
mhm,
And that's what I love about the show. It's a very unpredictable show, even though it feels relatable. There's a lot of elements that are very unpredictable. But a lot of that is due to Deji as an incredible writer. He's one of the best writers in the business. We have another series called Johnson that's streaming on Hulu that Deji and I produced and he created. Same thing with the writing in that series. It's just very relatable and honest. But this is different because obviously it's three young black women and their perspective and their colorful personalities and relationships. Jasmine is an incredible, incredible actor. She's so talented. If you watch her on screen, she literally is like your homegirl that you just talked to on the phone. You know what I
mhm,
mean? Like,
Mhm.
you can watch her in her scenes and you feel like, um, you know, everything that she's going through, even if you haven't gone through it, you feel it.
mhm,
It feels like you're going on her journey, with her and Ashanti, super dope, talented actor, super smart, very, very aware, and what I love about Ashanti is her listening.
mhm,
She listens so well as an actor. You see her reactions to whatever her scene partner is coming at her with, and her reactions are so honest and raw and subtle and the vulnerability that Ashanti showcases as an actor. Both of them, Ashanti and Jasmine, but in this series specifically, some of the vulnerabilities that Ashanti has to showcase. Man, it's just incredible. I'm a fan of them even though they're on the show, I
mhm.
am producing it, and we've been a part of the process. I'm just in awe of how talented they are. And as actors, when you see other talented actors, it just motivates you to be better as well. So.
So how are you guys? What's going on? Like, how has life been since episode 1 aired?
It's been cool. I can't complain.
Yeah.
A lot of love. It's a lot of love.
Overwhelming, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are
Yeah.
people are talking.
Mhm.
Episode two is out now. So we're,
Mhm.
we're just diving into the story. Episode one opened, with a huge bang. And then, also you have to introduce these characters, and introduce who they are and their stories and, their objectives and their relationships, all around them. So a lot of that happened in episode one, and then episode two, I think, just, raises the stakes. So people are I'm seeing that people are saying that they're hooked on the show already. We're two episodes in, so.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Got to clock that for sure. Because so Deji, where did you get the idea from? Like, what inspired you to do this type of show? This is not normally your typical type of storyline. Where did that come from?
Yeah, I think the two things that inspired me is well, two things that inspired me for this show are the world of this story and also the characters of this story. The skating rink is something that's very nostalgic for me. You know, growing up in the South, I went to the skating rink every weekend, and
Mhm.
a lot went down at the skating rink. You never knew what you were going to get into. You can go, you can have a great time, or you can go and you can get into a lot of trouble. So, it was very unpredictable in that way. And as fun as it was, there was always a darker side. Anything can happen in the parking lot, in the bathrooms, fights, you have dates, at the skating rink, all of that. So it was a world that I knew very well. And then just sort of combining that with Memphis. Thomas and I talk about this all the time. Memphis has not lost its culture one bit. There's a lot of southern cities that have sort of changed over the years. But I think Memphis is one of those last true Southern cities that really still has, its culture and its character. And we wanted that to shine through on this show. And then just, in this chaotic world, just creating characters that really match that energy. You know what I mean? Characters that are bold and chaotic themselves and a little messy, right? Because people want to see characters that don't have it all figured out. That's what makes them relatable. So, and of course, they have to face those consequences of the decisions that they make. So, with their flaws and everything, these young women still have redeeming qualities, and we really explore their humanity on the show.
Yes, love that. Now, how did you guys decide that these three ladies were the ones for the role?
They
Like
decided.
they decided? Like
Decided.
how did the casting go? Like, did you see their former work or did they hit you up and say, hey, what do you guys have? This is my audition. Really, how did that process go?
Man, we knew that we had a great story. We knew we had a great crew to bring that story to life. The challenge was going to be the casting.
Mhm.
So it was a process. The process took about a year to really find, the perfect actors for this show, and we found them. Jasmine. I had known about Jasmine already. She's been acting for a while, and I really love and respect her work. And she sent her audition tape in, and it just blew us away. She knew how to skate. She understood, the most vulnerable choices, of the dialogue. A lot of actors, completely miss over that, completely miss over certain beats, and she didn't. Ashanti, I met Ashanti at this showcase in Miami that she actually won, in front of, an entire film festival, which is very difficult to do. So I knew she was extremely talented, and she was, I think, the last person to be cast out of this trio. And Slimeroni, I had already knew about Slime's music beforehand, and we were looking for somebody who was just, super authentic and who, when you saw them, you saw Memphis. And of
Mhm.
course, Slimeroni was that actor, and she, you never know what you're going to get with an artist. You never know what you're going to get. I've worked with artists before, and the music world can be different than the film world, but she was the ultimate professional, showed up prepared, ready to go. She's a real actor, you know what I mean? And I just want to commend, all three of them for just, really, making a lasting impression, with these characters.
Absolutely. And Slime, you absolutely did very well. I absolutely was blown away because like he said, you never really know how it's gonna go. Because we've seen some movies. We don't gotta name them, but we've seen some movies and we know. So you did very well. So how did you, Slime, prepare for this role? And was there like any challenges that you had to come across as far as the transitioning between being an artist as far as music goes, but and then being an artist for acting?
I see it's a lot of similarities with the acting world and like the music world because like sometimes you'll do a video and it'll last 12 hours. You gotta do this and do that. So I was really comfortable with that aspect. And it really didn't take much for me to prepare for the role because I felt like a lot of Francis is slime or Asia or whatever. So like it was really easy to like mesh the two.
Okay. And you're the only Memphis native on
It's a couple of
on
it's
here?
a couple of them in there, yeah.
Okay. So how did you introduce the Memphis culture to your cast?
Mhm.
The accent, like, the mine, the hers, like, make sure you get them inflections right and stuff, and like putting them on to the different type of foods and like how we get down in Memphis, just give them a little taste of what we be doing.
And ladies, did you guys spend a lot of time together to try to like build a camaraderie between you so it can show on camera? Because you guys remind me of me and my homegirls.
Yes, we spent a lot of time together from the moment we met. I think, to be honest, from the moment we met, I don't think there was a day that we were not together from the start until the end, like even on weekends and stuff.
Mhm.
Right, y'all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in pre-production. We shoot the next day, and I'm looking at their stories, and they out Instagram stories having a good old time. I'm like,
At
okay,
the
all right,
Shindig.
We were
good old
lucky.
time.
Was.
Love that. So you guys started off, like I was telling Thomas, Ashanti, and Jasmine, you started off real raw, episode one. Episode one was real raw. I wasn't expecting that. What made you decide to start off episode one with the shot to the dome? Like just raw and gritty.
Well, that's a spoiler alert, number one. But I think you have to hook the people in.
Hmm.
Right? You have to hook them in. You have to give the characters motivation, and that particular scene ends up being Keisha's motivation throughout the entire show, the entire season, right? This
Hmm.
is what's on her mind. This is what's bothering her, and this is what she's sort of fighting for, trying to fight to get out of this sort of current state of emotion. So I think that sets the tone for the type of show it's going to be. How raw it's going to be, and how unpredictable is going to be, and how things can just go left, super quick. So, it was an easy decision. And then shout out to Cash, because Cash is the young man who played opposite Jasmine. That was his acting debut as well, and he's also a Memphis native. And I think Cash and Slime also have music together. Am I right?
We do. We do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So check
Yeah.
that out. But yeah, we just wanted to set the tone for the world. So and the inspiration for that. I'm a student of film, and so John Singleton, all these guys, are some of my favorite filmmakers, and you're gonna see uh, you know, sort of reflection of some of, inspiration from some of those films in this story. So yeah, you might see some similarities.
Nice. Okay. So Thomas, let's talk about your role as it's Savion, right?
Yeah.
That's how you pronounce the name. Listen, episode two, I was like, oh, okay. Because see, from the trailer, you don't necessarily get that from him, right? And so, that's a big thing now. Y'all probably have seen like some viral videos of, pastors who more so are about the money. So you played this role very well, by the way. Where did you draw your inspiration from for this role?
Right. I mean, when Deji and I were when he initially created the show and we were creating the characters, and this was a character that just really stood out, because all these characters are very relatable. That's the thing that Deji does well as a writer and creator, is that, he makes characters that people can connect to, and they're flawed, but you understand their flaws, because you've either done it before, or somebody that has done it before. So this character really stood out because I felt like it was a great opportunity for me to show my range as an actor, play a character that was very, very complex, very layered. Um, this guy is somebody who people trust, and he believes what he's saying. He believes what he's doing, even if it is for his own gain in some way, because he's preaching and he's speaking the word of God to these people. He's doing God's work, and so that's how he sees things. And I think the dope part about this was, whether it was a good version of him or a not so good version of him, I was able to commit to either side. and believe in either version of him.
Mhm.
And I think that was the most fun I had in playing this role, is that I could commit to even the fraudulent elements of him. And he is relatable, because you do hear nowadays about, some certain pastors online who, aren't so holy or do things that aren't so holy. And again, that just goes back to having relatable characters. Savion is definitely relatable, especially in the climate of some of the pastors now.
Mhm. Very much so. So, girls, besides Jasmine, Ashanti, and Asia, did you guys know how to skate?
A little bit, a little bit. I was decent, went the best, but I was okay.
You gonna say
How?
you were decent. I
I
was
Don't
was.
say, well,
I
Ashanti was decent.
I was decent. I could go forward, go backward. I could do like a half a spin,
Mhm.
by the end of filming, I could do a whole spin. So I was decent at first, but definitely got a lot better.
Yeah, so we're gonna see y'all a lot more on them skates.
Or on the floor for me, but you know.
And so, Ashanti, you are playing the role of a mom. You
hmm
know, how was that role for you, like personally? Were you able to connect with the character at all?
Yes, I am a mom in real life. So
Okay.
very relatable. I know all about that life. I'm 6 years in.
Mm-hmm.
God be with me. So yeah, with Ty, she is trying to do what she can to get to where she wants to be, as we all are in real life, but especially when you have kids, you have to fight not only for yourself, but for your child too. You want them to see you do better. You want them to see you succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And Ty is trying to do that by any means because she wants to do better for herself and for her daughter Deja.
Absolutely. And how was it working opposite of Elise Neal?
Oh, that was amazing. It's interesting because when we got on set, I'm assuming that she's already in character and we don't like each other because we're not fond of each other in the show. So we didn't say too much to each other in the beginning, because I feel like our characters were setting in. But when we got done, she gave me encouraging words. She was very sweet. I'm honored to have played, a part.
Nice. That's cool. And she's from Memphis, isn't she?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Elise Neal?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought so. I thought so. Okay.
Yeah, the
And then
Memphis.
you guys have the legends, 8 Ball and MJG on there. I'm
Yeah.
like, and this is their acting debut, right?
Yeah.
What was it like working with them?
It was so much fun. It was really fun. A-Ball is hilarious. He's just naturally funny, and he took it very seriously. He wanted to make sure that he was coming off as authentic. He kept asking us for help, like, okay, y'all. So, and we were asking him for help, like, how do I sound saying this? It was so fun being able to help each other. He was helping me with my accent for sure.
Mhm.
And I was like, no, you ain't gotta say it like that. You can say it like this. That sounds good. And it was just fun. He was so down to earth. And he didn't come on set like, I've been in this game for a while. He was very humble and fun to work with.
Nice. Yeah, he's definitely funny. I think that you guys gave him the right role of Chuck for sure. He plays it well. So I'm looking forward to seeing MJG and how he, how his what his role is and how he comes off on the screen. And so, Deji, I wanted to ask you, I know that you created Jonathan. Congratulations on all of your success for that show.
Thank you.
As a black man, as a creator in this space, did you have any challenges getting these shows off the ground? Or because of your connections and your resume, were you able to smoothly get things going?
That's a great question. And yes, there's always challenges. I think, somebody to champion your story and believe in your story is one of the hardest things you can do. It takes time, it takes, a lot of work. As a writer, oftentimes, I know for me personally, you feel like your work is ready, right? You've worked on it, for so long and it's ready to go out into the world and you just want that shot and that opportunity. And then you sit down with it again, or you start working with, other people, or you get notes, or, you work with a, great creative like Thomas, and then you realize, well, you know what? No, these characters can be developed even more. Their story can go bigger, it can go further. So I think, the timing has happened the way it was supposed to, with these particular projects.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's definitely challenging. You're competing, in a very limited space, which is, television distribution, and it's a lot of money that goes behind it, a lot of investment, and uh, you know, oftentimes, there's gatekeepers too, in the industry as well that you have to sort of, either prove yourself to or build up enough of a buzz to where they have to recognize, your work and your talent, so yeah, definitely a difficult task, but it's definitely something that we're in it for the long haul. We have a production company, Midnight Train Productions. We have a lot of different projects. Many of our projects, if not most of our projects, are starring Black women. I think, Thomas and I have definitely committed to making sure that we're putting, Black women and Black men on camera as very complex characters, very layered characters, um, characters that are vulnerable, characters that showcase humanity. We did that with Johnson, and we feel like we're doing that with Grits as well, and we're going to continue to do that until tell these stories because it's a lot of young actors and actresses out there that have the talent that need these roles, and that's why I'm so proud of Jasmine, Ashanti, and Slimeroni because these roles are perfect for them, and you don't get to play these particular type of roles too often. It's not too often. Like I think the next role for Jasmine, Ashanti, Slimeroni might be vastly different than these characters. You're not, these are very rare characters to play. So yeah, it's a challenge to answer your question, but if you're cut out for it, you just got to know that you got to keep going. Just keep going.
Yeah, and I'll add, it's difficult, like Deji said, to play these type of characters because a lot of times in the business, people aren't necessarily writing for us. They're writing, and we have to adjust to their vision versus their writing for our vision. And that's the best part about this in regards to just what Deji and I work on. We're always trying to figure out how to tell more complex stories about our culture and our perspectives. Johnson is a very unique show because it follows the lives of four Black men. And if you think about it, it's a simple concept. It should have been done before, or it's had to have been done before. But then when you look up, shows with four Black men and their relationships, I never saw one. You have a one-off, whether it's the brothers, or a version of kind of that with the best man, series, but an actual TV series dedicated to that perspective. You just don't see it. And we shot 40 episodes of that show, and so now that's kind of the bread and butter for what we do. We're kind of addicted to telling all these individual stories, from Jasmine, Keisha's story to Ashanti and Ty's story to Slimeroni and Francis's story. Those are very specific characters that women can watch and they can say, "Hey, that's me."
Mhm.
That's me, or that's my friend group, just like you said earlier. So, yeah, this is an incredible opportunity, with Grits to showcase on the production side with Midnight Train, and for Deji to showcase a totally different side of relatable characters in Grits than we did with Johnson. Shows Deji's incredible diversity as a creator and writer.
Yes, absolutely. So I have to ask you guys, we are in a space of artificial intelligence, right? As creators, as actors, how do you guys feel about the ways that AI is starting to be integrated into entertainment? I believe LA recently like banned like production companies from replacing actual actors with the AI. How do you feel that affects, you or, your peers in this field as far as creating and then physically showing up, to act?
I feel like it take the soul out of the creative process. Like when you working on something, you supposed to put your heart, your soul, your story into it. And just to have it just materialize and whipped up real fast and just sent out for like consumption and for dollars, like it just doesn't feel like people need something to connect to. And I just feel like it's kind of putting up a wall for people to like really connect with stuff. And it's lazy. It's really lazy. It's too many good people out here to like not work with people and pay them what they're worth.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
1,000%.
Yeah, technology has always been a disruptor, and sometimes for the good and sometimes for the bad. And I think that, there's responsible ways that it can be utilized without, replacing, people's, creativity. That's very important. And but like Slimeroni said, I do feel like, when it comes to true art, there's something about connecting to somebody on a personal level, understanding that the person that you're watching on the screen or the person that you're listening to, the artist that you're listening to, is speaking from a real place, a place of experience or, relatability. And that's for me, when I listen to music, that's what makes me feel something is when somebody's singing, I'm like, wow, this feels like something that they went through and I can relate to this. And I just feel and hear the passion and the soul in their voice. So for me personally, that's what I connect to,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people do as well. But you just never know where it's going to lead. I think we all just have to recognize that, the world is changing and technology is changing, and we have to make sure we stay ahead of it, on a
Mhm.
creative level. So yeah, so what's happening in California, with the laws and everything that are being passed, that's a good thing because a lot of these systems are trained with, people's work, right?
Mhm.
You can't just take Slimeroni's voice and her lyrics and then put it into a system and have it spit it out. You know what I mean? That's not fair and that's not art and that's not creative, right? So we just got to figure out responsible ways to use it for humanity in general.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think like Slime said, it really takes the soul out of it. It's nothing like a real person doing something, putting their heart and their mind and their creativity into it. And there is so much error in technology. You can't always depend on a computer system. Even, ChatGPT is a big thing now, right? And I've used Chat and it's told me the same thing over and over. If I'm asking the same question or a different question, it'll tell me the same thing, or it'll just repeat and repeat. And sometimes that's not what you're looking for. And there, I just think that, like Deji said, responsibly,
Mhm.
I think it could be a good thing.
So do you guys plan to or are you already working with AI to some extent as far as your careers or your projects?
No.
I'm not.
Mm-mm.
No, 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 no.
No,
I love
No,
that.
no.
there's no need to, at this point. I think, if you get into like, super heavy VFX work and there's ways that you can, still work with talented VFX artists, but you're able to, work faster and sort of expand, whatever visual presentation you're trying to accomplish, then cool. But, we're telling stories that are personal. We're telling stories that we want that are heartfelt, and we're expressing ourselves. As an actor, you express yourself. As a writer, you express yourself. As an artist, you express yourself. So relying on AI is taking the expression out of that, from a human perspective. So, there's really no need to, we're
Mhm.
100% authentic.
Yeah, and there's a therapeutic element too, as an actor, with these characters. And AI just can't capture the raw emotion or experiences that come with some of the therapeutic moments you have as an actor living these characters out. I mean, there's a lot of places that we have to, dark places sometimes that we have to go to as actors, to give these performances. Shanti was saying, the computer system, uh, for the most part, can't create those real life experiences that you still suffer from or you're still trying to work through. That plays a huge part. And I think on this show, I know as actors, there were a lot of conversations that we had on set. I know I spoke to Jasmine, I spoke to Ashanti, and about a couple of situations that were pretty personal that they were able to use in some of these scenes. And I could relate, and Daisy could relate because we're actors as well. And there were dark moments I had to go to be Savion, places that I wouldn't have gone, as me, but Savion would have gone there. And so I had to think of a lot of those things. So AI just can't capture that rawness, those conversations that we were able to have on set, as just producer and actor, and to be able to connect. Because a lot of these scenes and the vulnerability that you're seeing came from a real place. AI just it can't make that magic happen. It just can't.
I absolutely agree. And so, speaking of having to go into certain places that you don't want to pull those emotions out, how how do you guys balance that as actors? I know some people say that they get like stuck in that place of where they had to go deep to and they have to like kind of snap out of it. How was balancing that for you guys to make sure that, when you leave set, your mental is back where it should be?
Mental health is very important, right? And, I think as actors, we always have a role where you have to go to places you, like Thomas said, that you don't want to go. But after it's over, for me personally, it's all about resetting. Like you literally have to reset a scene or dark scene or, something, a triggering scene. You have to decompress from that literally every day. Get it out your mind, do whatever you need to do to relax and start again tomorrow.
I know for me personally, I can always tell when I've like cheated my character or the scene when I am kind of still in it after the fact. I've noticed like when I allow myself to fully go there and get it all out there, when they say cut, I'm kind of over it in 10 minutes because I've already put it out on the floor. I put it out on the floor. Now sometimes there are times when I'm like, okay, that was real heavy. I remember on set, there was one scene where, me and Ashanti, we had to go there and it was really deep. And I needed a moment. I think Deji had like shut the set down for a second and he had just gave me the biggest hug and just kind of let me get it out because I needed a moment. Like I needed a moment. But after that moment, I'm like, okay, it's over with. Let's move on. It's kind of you kind of got a little be tectonic a little bit. But I'm like, okay, I'm ready. Okay, let's do the next thing now. But
You talking
that's
about
what
the
I've
scene
learned
outside
from
the
me.
skating rink?
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yes.
I
let me
can't
just
wait
say
to see that.
let me just say this. When you watch this scene in episode 8 between Ashanti and Jasmine, um, just know that it's one take.
Mm.
Mm.
Just throwing that out there is
Yeah.
one take. Ashanti got one take, Jasmine got one take, and that's it. And two reasons. One, we were limited on time,
Yeah.
right? But number two, they didn't need a second take because they left it all out there. And yeah, as an actor, people don't realize how challenging it is. And when you get home, you are just so tired and you're emotionally tired. There's physical labor when you're out there and you're building a house and you can be tired from that. That's one type of tired. And then there's an emotional
Mhm.
tired where you're just drained from, reliving certain emotions that you've been sort of compressing or having to kind of relive it over and over again and go there or change your emotions so frequently within a scene. And, you know, actors who take it there really understand what I'm talking about. So
That scene in episode 8 is, I mean, it's one of my favorite scenes in the whole series. I mean, Deji and I were behind the monitor, and we looked at each other almost as much as we were looking at them on the monitor because we were just like, whoa, and it was just so raw. And you can tell that Jasmine and Ashanti had connected in some way.
Mhm.
Whatever they were using was obviously something probably different because I'm sure they didn't know each other at those times, but they were connected in a magical way. And when you see this scene, and all three, Slimeroni had some incredible scenes as well. I mean, just the whole show, man. It's just,
episode 4, is it episode 4 or 5 with Slimeroni and her grandfather?
oh, it's episode 4. Episode
Man.
4. Yeah, episode 4, Slimeroni. And that's the thing, Slimeroni is an actor.
Hmm.
When Slimeroni when she sent in her audition, say Deji and I looked at it, she sent it in from her phone. And it was the most Francis thing that I've ever seen. Because it wasn't like a blue wall in the background or a gray wall or any like formal type of presentation. It was a cell phone audition. And then afterwards, when she finished her last line, she went, cut with her hand like a slate. I'm like, yo, that's Francis, man.
Yeah.
And she got on set and just connected immediately.
Vulnerable.
Yeah, man. Not only just with the girls because they had built their camaraderie and their chemistry, but her standalone scenes.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, man. And it was just refreshing to see, like, wow, like we found a star, like stumbled upon a star actor, somebody that really is talented and is natural at this. So yeah, man, there's so many scenes between Jasmine and Ashanti and Slimeroni throughout the show that I think, as you continue to watch, you're gonna be like, whoa, they're really, really talented.
You see it in episode 1 with Slimeroni and Jasmine when she's trying to get her back to the rink.
Yep.
You
Yeah,
see how vulnerable Jasmine is, and you see how careful Slimeroni's performance is as Francis, listening to
Mhm.
every single word and reacting. Acting is not just about acting, it's about reacting, it's about listening, it's about taking your time and taking your beats and seeing that in between work. And you see Slimeroni's in between work and Jasmine's in between work. And it's just such a really, really great scene where they truly connect. And yeah, I'm just so proud of all three of them.
yeah,
So
same here.
Yes, yes, you ladies do an amazing job. I actually sent the show to a couple of my friends to get feedback.
Hi.
Everybody loves it. They absolutely said that it's a series that they will continue to watch.
Yay.
So you guys have a gem. I'm telling you, I just without even seeing the episodes from the trailer, I knew. I knew
Wow.
it. I knew it. And so, what's something, and this is for all of you, and you can speak to your specific character. What's something that you want the audience to really take away from as far as the character that you're portraying?
Hmm. I could say from Francis, the takeaway would be to not get caught up in your past and like the people that surround you know that it's always like a different route that you can go. And also like Frances, like she goofy, she like to lighten the mood. Like you don't have to be so serious all the time. Like it's okay to like laugh and joke and stuff.
Definitely.
My
Um,
character.
but
Oh, go ahead, Frank.
I would say for my character, don't let nobody tell you no. There will always be someone there trying to deter you from your goals and trying to, sow discord into your life. But you cannot else stop what you want to do. And I just say to keep at it. And if you do have people in your life that are sowing discord or are not supportive of you, then you probably should not be telling them, what you are planning to do and just do it yourself and wait till it's done.
Love that.
My character, what I think I would want people to take away from Keisha is to see like all of the hardship that she faces and watch how she allows that to like fuel her. We're all going to face challenges in our lives, but instead of using that to set you back and to just sit in that and be a pessimist, like be optimistic about life and use your downfalls to like fuel you.
I love that.
Mhm.
And I can see that that is really you because I'm listening to you talk and I'm watching how you're speaking. And I'm like, she is really true to this. Like the role is you as far as how she's being.
Keisha
It's
is
you.
me.
Keisha is
Keisha is
you. You
me.
do it,
It's
baby.
scary.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. And Thomas, what about your role?
Um, um, I'm trying to think of something.
what?
Did Savion do anything inspirational?
He got some nice Lucchese boots.
Oh yeah. Go out and get you some Lucchese boots, man.
I'm screaming.
Um, no, I would say this, honestly, I would say believe in yourself. Because one thing Savion does is he believes in himself, regardless of whether it's for the right reasons or the wrong reasons. He believes in himself, and he commits to anything that he sets out to do. And I mean that could be for anybody. Believe in yourself and really commit to whatever it is, whatever your goal is. Because Savion, he's flawed, very flawed, but there's a part of him that believes what he's doing is right. Bless his heart.
Bless
So
his
that's Savion's heart. So believe in yourself. That's what I want people to take from Savion.
Okay. And listen, it was cutthroat the way y'all came with the paper about how much at the tithes and say, oh, okay. Honestly, it made me think like, damn, I wonder if they be doing
Do
that.
they do that?
Like, cause it was so I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting that. So that was great writing play, Deji. And so what as the creator, what would you like for people to take away from the series and overall?
Yeah, I think they covered it. Overcoming adversity, I think, is, sort of a big theme, in this show, and not being defined, by your circumstances as well is another big theme. And that's what, all of these ladies, they have goals and dreams and objectives, and, they have obstacles, and it's just a matter of overcoming those obstacles and leaning on each other, right? The sisterhood. So just being inspired by that, and finding yourself in one or all three of these characters, But in general, I think I just want people to support these artists,
Mhm.
support these actors. They worked super hard, not just in front of the camera, but behind the camera. We had, a lot of creatives behind the camera, on the directing side, hair, makeup, set dressing, a lot of, we employed a lot of, talented, young black women, black men who brought this project to life. We have a lot of Memphis artists, that are on the show. Obviously, 8 Ball MJG and Slimeroni are actually on the show. But we also have music from like Tangela, Taliba, Sophia, Tavis Trendon, Breeze, Cash as well. So I think just support this storytelling. It's important. We don't get these opportunities too often. We certainly don't get like to tell these types of stories for a long period of time. Without the audience's support. So the same way you're supporting us, we support you. So we appreciate this opportunity. We have to support the mediums that's getting the word out there.
Yes.
Web Celeb Daily, and it's very important. That we all work together. The audience, the journalists, the media, and then the shows as well. We all need each other. So we have to support the show and support these artists so we can continue to tell these stories.
Yes, and it's important that our own continue to tell our own stories. That's so important. So, bravo to you for doing that. And I also think that it reminds people that Memphis has talent. Like
Oh yeah.
people forget. And so hopefully, we can see my boy Project Pat on there or something, maybe season two, because
Hey,
I
I
do
love that.
enjoy seeing the hometown natives being a part of the show. So I
Absolutely.
think that's really good. So one more question for you guys. If you can choose, because you never know who's going to see it, right? Who's going to see this interview.
Mhm.
If you can choose, and each of you can choose somebody, one legendary actor to do a guest role or, maybe even come on as a series regular, who would you choose?
Oh,
I'm gonna
Mm.
shoot for the moon. I'm gonna say Angela Bassett.
Okay.
It's
I
just,
love it.
it's just me.
I'm gonna say Taraji because that's my girl.
I can see
That's my
Taraji.
girl.
okay. Now stay with me here. I'm gonna say her name is Crystal Fox.
Know her.
She is so Oh my gosh, she is so talented. Maybe she could. I've always wanted to play like her daughter or something. Maybe she could be my grandmother.
Mm.
She is so talented and she's so she's not as known as she should be. She is so talented. Like she makes me want to be a better actor.
Mhm.
Yes, her. Her for me. It's her for me.
You know, Ty don't have no family yet, so
Yeah.
I got
my
options.
mama.
You got options.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna create a list and send it to y'all.
I think you know, Loretta Devine just makes everything.
Ooh, that was
Yes.
good.
Yes.
Loretta Devine just makes everything better. And this is definitely in her world. She thrives in. So I think Loretta Devine could be a great addition to Grit.
Okay.
I can
Can I,
see
can I
that.
give three? Can I give three?
You sure can. You the creator of the
Please.
show. You give how many
I'm
you want.
I'm gonna go with Viola Davis.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go with Jennifer Lewis.
Yes.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
I say Jennifer because you got to think about the show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The world of the show. And I think, she's just unapologetic, right? And
Mhm.
so I think
Yeah.
she would really fit on the show. And then one of my favorite actors of all time is Delroy Lindo.
Yes.
So, I would love to work with him, and I could write a really nice role for Mr. Delroy on the show for sure.
Yes.
Look,
Yes.
y'all heard it here. Come on,
Yeah.
come on over to Grits.
Okay, y'all heard it here first. Web Celeb Daily, season 2 of Girls Raised in the South. We already know that that's coming. Well, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to speak with me. You guys are awesome. I really feel like I felt it watching the show, but just getting to speak to you guys, I feel the passion. I see the love that you have for the show, for each other, for the character. And you guys are really thinking about us as the audience and how we feel about the show, what you want us to take from it. And I love that you're taking all of that into account. Jasmine, Ashanti, Asia, listen, continue to shoot for the moon. You girls got it. Okay, you got it. Like, you got
Thank you.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, you guys, it's been a pleasure. Yeah, I'm excited for episode 3.
Yeah.
Yes.
Coming out
Yes.
on Thursday. I think it's
Yep.
like
Yes.
midnight on Wednesday. Actually, you can go to Prime Video and type it in. It pops up on Prime Video as well as Apple TV. So go to Apple TV and it's there as well. And you subscribe to All Black, you can watch it. I think it comes out like midnight. Don't
Yes.
quote me because sometimes it'd be,
No,
it's off.
it been coming out. It been coming out on
Okay.
midnight.
All right, cool.
It's on Samsung TV too.
Samsung TV.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. I didn't even know
Yeah.
that was a thing, period.
Yep.
Yeah. Is it on Fios? Is it on Fios too? Fios?
I'm not sure. I have to check on that, but yeah, just search Grits All Black on all of these sort of streaming platforms, and you can subscribe through that platform. So you can subscribe through Apple TV, through Prime, and watch it.
Yeah. No, we appreciate the conversation. This was great. We love the fact that, people like you really care about our work. You know what I mean? You care about our work enough, not only just to watch it, but to actually want to dive deeper in and hear our perspectives. I mean, it makes a huge difference in just, the motivation for us moving forward, with people like you that are in your space that are passionate, just as passionate about telling our stories as we are about telling our stories,
For sure.
So we appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. I'm very connected to the show. And I used to live in Memphis, so it was nice to see, the old neighborhood. I lived off Jefferson around the corner from Beale Street. So
Hey.
yeah, it was it's and then being a girl from the hood, it was good to see these stories.
Mm.
I feel like it's a difference between being from the ghetto
Yeah.
and being from the hood.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you chose not to put these girls in the ghetto, which
No.
I appreciate.
Yeah.
So, yes. Well, I look forward to more of the series. I look forward to seeing more of your projects. Does anybody have anything that they want to promote? Any projects, any music, any other shows?
Oh yeah, my stuff out everywhere, so look me up. Ding.
Yeah.
I have a new Netflix movie coming out that I am the supporting lead in. It's called Doing Life. I think it may be coming out in 2026. So look out for that.
Go girl.
Yeah.
I'm just over here still grinding, you know, networking.
You got another movie out on All Black.
Yes, I do. I guess I didn't think about that because it's been out for a while.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, Fatal Lust is also on All Black, which I am the lead in that movie.
Okay, I'm gonna check that out.
Yes, very spicy. Very spicy.
I'm just going to promote episode 3 of
That's
GRITS
right. I can't wait.
on Thursday.
Same here, episode 3, man. Keep watching, keep supporting. The show gets pretty intense.
Yes.
Unpredictable is an understatement.
I'm nervous.
Watching.
Me too. Me too.
You should be.
I love it. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being with me today. I hope you guys have an amazing day.
We excited. We love the fact that you love what we do and love the show and support it. And however we can support you, man, it's mutual. So.
I definitely appreciate that. Well, you guys have an amazing rest of your day. I know y'all got a million things to get back to, but I definitely appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I'll be in touch soon.
All right.
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.